Hey there, this is Erica from Ever Educating. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please do subscribe if you're interested in teaching tips for new college instructors or maybe even high school teachers as well. And so today we're talking about Mentimeter. So I've done a Mentimeter versus Pear Deck video before to kind of compare the two and contrast them and see which one's better. But today I want to focus specifically on Mentimeter and going through some of the various styles of slides that you can actually use with this tool. So I mentioned Mentimeter and I have prompts for it and templates for it in my HighFlex activities collection, as well as templates for Pear Deck. But in this case, I really want to focus on the unique style of Mentimeter slides that can really help with exit cards if you have the free version, or with your actual interactive lecture if you pay for an account with Mentimeter. So we're going to go through again different styles here to give you a sense of how you can have your students interact with you during a class session, whether it's online or in person. Now the Mentimeter versus Pear Deck video gives you a tutorial for using Mentimeter, so I'm not going to go over that again in this one. Today I'm focusing on the different types of slides so you get a sense of every single slide option available in Mentimeter. Okay, so I have here a presentation. Remember, for the free version, you only get 2 slides. Exceptions to this, if you want to do a loophole, is you can have up to 5 quiz questions, but quiz questions don't work as well for interactive lectures or for exit cards because there's like a leadership board and it's more of a competition. So I'm not a big fan. Plus, there's only 2 options, the multiple choice or the short answer. So I'm going to focus here on just general slides you can use to make your lectures or exit cards more interactive. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here in this presentation, and we're going to have 1 slide. So I prefer having just 2 presentations, 1 slide each for the limitation of the free account. That way I have it blank for 2 sessions of class, and then for my 3rd session, I just delete the answers of one of the presentations after exporting them onto my computer so I can see them later. And that way it's kind of easy to just kind of alternate which presentation I'm using, right? So we're going to start from the very beginning. And as you see on the right here, by type. So there's all these options of by type. And so I'm going to go through them so you get a sense of what they all look like. Okay. And so right here, the first one is multiple choice, right? So you go ahead and click which one you want, and it moves you into content. And that's where you fill out the slide. So here I have, which is an example of a simile. It's my question. And then you have question options, answer options. So you can add more than 3, or you could exit out, you can add images. So there's tons of a variety here of what you can do. But in this case, I just have 3 different examples, obviously only one being correct. Okay. And so you can go ahead down here and you can say, okay, the results, does it look like a bar graph? Do you want it to be a donut, a pie, or dots, right? And so you can choose which one, like maybe you're more of a pie person. And so now it will look like a pie graph when the students answer the question. Now on down here, do you want it to show correct answers, right? Let's say yes, we do want that to happen, okay? Then down here, you have click the box next to the one that's correct. So I go ahead and make sure I mention that's the one that is correct. Notice there are character limits, but it's actually very long as far as how long the answers can be and the question can be. Okay. Show results in percentage. Does that matter to you? In this case, no, but you can turn that on or off. And do you want participants to have multiple options? In this case, definitely not. I want them to all answer the question once. So this is multiple choice. You can also click customize here in case you want to customize the slide a bit more. And so here you can have, right, do you hide the instructor bar, which is removing how to join, right, up here? Do you want to hide results, okay? Do you want to change up the layout here, right? Potentially there are options that might appeal to you more, so you can go ahead and look around there. I liked the one that takes up most of the screen. And so again, some of these are a bit new, so I didn't really use them yet, but you do have these options as well on the top here. Okay, so that's the first one. Now moving on, what's great is so you have this already written out. If now you click word cloud, it still has that same question. So you can kind of see how it looks with different types. But of course, now when you have, which is an example of a simile, doesn't really work well with the word cloud. So you might have instead, maybe write one word that describes your feelings about the book Cinder. Okay, so now you have that prompt. How many times can they enter? Maybe you want to just do the one, or maybe you want to give them more than one chance, right? Again, you can have an image. And again, let participants submit multiple times, yes or no. Obviously, in this case, it is yes for me, but you can limit it if you want to. And once again, you can check out customize if you want to do these things, right? And so that is the word cloud. And so when they answer the question, the more times a certain word is used, the bigger it appears on the screen. Now, open-ended, this is obviously a very popular one because, again, it's exactly what it sounds like. So you have here maybe rather than one word, just, what topic do you want to cover more on Thursday? You're having it to be open-ended, right? So in that case, again, you can add an image if you want to, and you can see here the layout, speech bubbles, which is one that I like, so you can just see them all separately on the screen, or you can do one by one, so you can kind of scroll through answers individually, or you can do a flowing grid, okay? So it actually moves right on the screen depending on how many answers you get. It's a bit complicated for me. I like the speech bubbles, so there's multiple student answers on there, and they're separated very easily. Okay, and so again, do you want them to submit multiple times or not is something that you can choose. And so that's open-ended, right? And so in this case, it's actually having them reply to a question that you asked. I like doing this a lot because since Mentimeter is anonymous, if you do open-ended, you can say, hey, put your name next to your answer so then you know whose answer it is. Of course, if you want it to be anonymous, then tell them not to do that. But for the open-ended one, you actually can see their name alongside their answer. Same with Q&A. So in this case, rather than asking them questions, this is more asking for questions from the audience, right? So what questions do you have about Unit 2? And so they'll go ahead and submit their questions to you and you'll see it on the screen, right? So when would you like the audience to ask their questions? On all slides that are in the presentation or just the one, right? I put it for only Q&A slides, right? Can they see each other's questions? Yes or no, right? Do you want to approve or dismiss questions before they're shown to the audience? So you can, again, do some customization here as well. I keep it simple, right? I allow them to see each other's questions. I don't moderate it, and I only have it on the Q&A slide. So in this case, when they ask, then it just appears on the screen. And so you can answer the questions that they have about a unit or about a topic as needed. Now ranking, we got a bit more advanced here. So when you have here, obviously, it still has the answers from that multiple choice question. So in this case, the question doesn't work well. So ranking here is potentially, what topic would you prefer to cover on Thursday? And so maybe the first answer is MLA, and the second one is thesis statements, and the third one is close reading, right? And maybe you have a fourth one that's analysis. Okay. And so now you have these, right? And then in this case, you might have click the box next to an option to mark it as correct. Obviously, that's not appearing here because there's no correct answer, right? I'm actually not sure why it's showing that when it's not the case. So in this case, when they answer the question, they're going to be ranking these topics. And so in the answer, you'll see, okay, on average, the one that's ranked first the most is thesis statements, or the one that's ranked the most is analysis. So you're going to get a sense here of what your students are most interested in learning more about in the next class period by ranking them. Okay, so that's that option. Now skills. This is slightly different. So rather than what topic would you prefer to cover, yes, you can do it this way, and you can have here below that, you have nope, and then yes, right? And then the low value is 0, and the high value is 5. Maybe we'll do 1 to 5. So in this case, what's going to be doing is for each one, they're going to say, okay, what do you want to cover? Well, MLA, maybe I'm semi-interested in that one. 3. Thesis statement, yes, I need help with that. 5. Close reading, no, I'm good. 1, right? Analysis, sure, I wouldn't mind. 4. And so now they're doing the value of these 4 things. And again, you'll be able to see the average, right, of the statements on the screen. So you can see, okay, well, when you're doing this kind of, scales type of ranking, it turns out that the one that had the highest number average is thesis. And so we'll cover that first, and then MLA, and then analysis, and so on, right? So it's similar to the ranking, but not exactly, right? Because in this case, I like doing this when it comes to feelings, right? Rather than what topic would you prefer for that, I would use ranking. So for example, how confident are you about the following skills? And then down here, so you add the answer, right? And so you have here different skills here that you want to know how confident they're feeling in it. And so again, you down here, I like the sliders. The spider chart is a bit confusing to me. I'd rather just do the sliders. And so again, low value is 1. So in this case, it'd be no confidence, right? And then in this one, 5 would be high confidence. So when I don't let them skip, they have to do all of them. And so when they answer this question, then you can get a sense of, okay, well, on average, the one that has the least confidence is finding strong quotes to actually add into the literary analysis paper. Let's focus on that today or in our next class period, right? The next one is having the work cited. You're confused about the citation style. We'll work on that together as well. I'll make an activity. Okay, so in this case, I prefer doing feelings, right? So how confident, how worried are you about this? How much interest do you have in these topics, right? And so that's what I would use these scales for, right? Versus the ranking. As I mentioned here, the quiz competition, you can have 5 slides if they're quizzes, but you only have the short answer, right? So what is the correct answer? And then type the answer, right? So short answer. So these are the 2. You can have 5 slides, and it does create a leadership board. Here, if I click this, right, you'll notice that, so you have here, sure, why not, add a slide, type the answer, okay? So as you see here, it creates the leadership board, okay? Not a big fan, so I would rather just use the regular questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that and go back, skipping the quiz competition, and you keep on going. Now you have content, right? Maybe you just want to have a heading. So maybe rather than exit cards, the first slide will be, here's the quote of the day, some inspiration to start the day. And then the second slide is the exit card that happens at the end of the session, right? Or maybe you have a whole paragraph if you need a longer one, okay? Maybe you have, here's what we're covering today. What's today's agenda? And then the second slide again is an exit card. So you do have aspects here of, it's not a question, it's just how you want to design the slide, right? So maybe you want to have one of these as an intro part of the class. And again, the second slide is the one that's for the end of the class session. Then you have advanced questions, right? So these are a bit more complicated here. And so you have 100 points, right? So how would you prioritize these items? And then again, you have the items here. So you can do something along the lines, if I click this, right? You might have how confident you're about the following skills, very similarly. And then you have these here, right? And so maybe when they're answering it, they have like, okay, well, 0 out of 100, I feel 75% confident about this first one, right? And then 60% about this one, 20 about that one, and 35 about that one. So in that case, you can use, if you like using numbers, so 0 through 100 for a percentage, you can do it that way if you want to, right? So again, it's more just asking for a numerical number that's slightly different than the scales and the ranking. Now the grid, this is one of the ones that I mentioned in my HyFlex collection. I think it's pretty interesting. So again, it can be kind of confusing. I do have a tutorial actually in the collection itself on how to use this one. But taking a quick look, let's go ahead and do here, right? And so this way, you're basically asking, it's a 2-element question. So for example, if we look at the one that I use in the HyFlex collection, it basically has 2 axes, right? Horizontal and vertical. So you have to ask a question that has 2 things going along with it, right? So how would you rate the following task? But it's not just rate it in how much it interests you. It's you want to know how much it interests the student, but also how they see it as either being very easy or difficult. Because maybe they find it very interesting and also very easy. And so maybe you want to use that, but you might want to be challenging your students. So you want to find ones that are very interesting, but also they consider to be very difficult. So in that case, you can keep them engaged, but also really teach them something that will challenge them. Right? And so here's how this would work in the grid, right? So how would you rate the following task is the question you ask, right? And so you can ask just one task, right? So there's only one item here, right? Creating MLA citations in the works cited, and they'll add it onto the grid. But you can also have multiple, right? So how would you rate the following task? So creating the MLA citations, again, doing close reading and analysis, writing a strong conclusion with the so what message, right? And so maybe you have these three. So now you go down here. And again, I have two values. You can do more, but again, that becomes more complicated. So let's keep it to the two, right? So in this case, maybe you have in the horizontal, you have effort, right? So down here will be the difficulty, right? And so easy and hard, right? And then in the vertical axis, so going up, it's interest, okay? And then in this case, it's boring and fascinating, okay? And then again, you value it. So I go 1 to 5. You have the grid background that you want. I'm keeping it simple like this, okay? Can they skip single statements? I say no. And so now when they answer this question, right, again, they'll have, all right, well, creating the MLA citation, I find that when it comes to effort, it's easy. It's a 2, right? As far as how much I'm interested in it, it's boring. That's a 1, right? And so that will appear low here on the grid. So you can decide, okay, I want to find ones that students find interesting but easy, or maybe you want the ones that are interesting and hard. I would probably want ones over here, right, to focus on. But you can decide, obviously, what interests you the most. And so again, this is the 2-value one. If you want to, you can get more complex and do 4 values instead, right? And so you can keep going there if you want to and have it in that sense, right? I like just doing it this way. Now going down here, this one is for a pro account, I assume, because of that star. And so that leaves who will win. This one I wouldn't really use. It's more like, who do you think is going to get the highest score on this review quiz? And then students can guess who they think will win, but I don't know why you would do that. So in this case, I don't think it's necessary, considering what you have up here on these, right? As far as multiple choice or, ranking, etc. Now, I like keeping it simple with the white background, but if you wanted to, you can go to themes here and you can figure out maybe you want a different theme as far as how it looks. And then from there, you'll see, that it's changed. Okay, so you can go here to themes and decide on the one that you want and just change it. And if you do have a paid version, you might want to configure and you can have it where it's live. But if you have, where it's audience pace, so there's something you're doing for homework, you can have that option. Though really, if you're doing it as exit cards, you'll be doing presenter pace, so you really don't have to configure any of this. But you can see here if you want to do any of this type of work when creating your slides for your students. And then, of course, whenever you want to present it to them, you just click present and they go to menti.com, put in the code, and they can answer the question. And so again, you can see more of how this all works, a tutorial of it, in that Mentimeter versus Pear Deck comparison video. If you want to learn more about what activities are included in that HyFlex activities collection, I'll go ahead and link it below. But please click like if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, and let me know in the comments, which style was your favorite, right? Which style would you use in your classroom and why? I'd be curious to know.